Yeah. And I think one of the challenges now is because such a long time,
Yeah.
and I suppose you have this with athletes as well, when, it's initially you can cope with things because it's all your fight and flight reactions are there. Then they're not now. So weeks and months down the line, I think people are going through a different phase of struggling to deal with uncertainty, and actually there's a lot of anxiety about. There's now talk of people going back to work, and there's a fair bit of anxiety about how that would work, how they would, they don't feel like they are safe, or they may not feel confident in doing what they're doing. Have you got any thoughts or ideas on how patients could support themselves?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting to think about the phases, because definitely if we think about kind of, training and training programs, coaches will put training programs in place that will last a certain amount of time to stress the athletes, and then they'll ease off to let systems recover, to allow the physical and the mental energy to recuperate. Because if you keep it suppressed for too long, it's then you can't then get back up into that healthy recovery growth stage. So I would say at the moment for people, anything that you can do which really allows you to accentuate self-care, rest and recovery, physically doing the stuff that helps you feel refreshed, that will at least help you physically and mentally sort of have a sense of recovery from what we've been through before we start transitioning into another program of worry about some different things. And it's difficult to make that separation at the moment, but where we can, I think it's worth it. And then definitely, again, sort of thinking about what's really important here is, what am I going to do to retain some habits of self-care while the new challenges come on board? And how am I going to keep seeking out good advice and putting in place the right thing to do today, which is going to be my response today? So, because I think at the moment we're not going to have a definite right tomorrow this is happening and I'm going to go back and it's going to be safe because of this, this and this. I think we have to be in a mindset of how do I enter into today, taking care of myself, being as safe as possible and ready to find out the next information so I can update one day at a time. And I'm on a mission to update and then rest and recover and take care of myself so I'm ready to get the next block of knowledge and awareness, because we will slowly desensitize ourselves to the worry by having a focus on more control and more confidence that we know what's going on and we know how to engage with the current rules of the game as they are.
And the recovery, in what form can that take? Could that be in the form of exercise or reading or doing? Presumably that's doing something different.
Doing something different, doing something that you find refreshing, doing something that you enjoy. So whether it's a psychological recovery of making sure that you're taking time out to do stuff that's enjoyable, or physically getting some of the exercise, the good nutrition, hydration at the moment as well. Those things are particularly important just to keep everything in place. But, I think I've found with extended periods of stress and pressure for the athletes over the years, when both mind and body get kind of pushed down together for too long, that's when it's harder to bounce back. If physically they're tired, but mentally they're still feeling fresh, they tend to be okay. If mentally they're really tired because of the pressure, but physically they've been taking care of themselves, they're typically okay. It's when we get both kind of prolonged for a period of time that you lose the reserve to recover, because physically and mentally they're both sort of in that suppressed state. So it's definitely looking at the two go hand in hand, and anything you can do that sort of is psychologically enjoyable, refreshing, energizing for you, and physically allows you to kind of feel that sense of sort of health. And those things also give you that sense of being in control in the here and now. I'm making a choice to do something that's the right thing for me, that I can take control of. We've lost so much control. It's so important to exercise control where we can, which I know is easier for some of us than others.
I have to say, Chris, that from a personal point of view, that does resonate because we have, from our practices point of view, we've been working absolutely flat out, and because there are no more weekends effectively, and weekdays we've been open, bank holidays, and actually, I don't think we as an organisation need to make sure that we do rest properly and do something different so that we're more productive when we do work, because we can't carry on like this for long periods. For a few
weeks. And that might mean a little bit more collaboration and kind of having a baton handover of, right, who's on the field of play, who's resting, let's do the handover, and at least try and stagger it, so that you know that there's someone coming back on to ride the next. Like, I was talking to one of the leaders that I work with, and throughout the work we've done, he's talked about the cycling peloton, and he, as the leader, doesn't want to sit at the front of the peloton all of the time because he'll get exhausted. A peloton in cycling works because the person at the front does the work and then everyone else kind of drafts and gets an easier ride. But you can't just leave the person out the front all the time. Someone else goes and takes a turn. And actually, where we can have taken it in turns to kind of step into the pressure and then relax and recover, that at least, there's some benefit from the collaboration involved in that as well. And we don't feel so isolated that it's just us not letting other people down.